here. Let's see how we go. Check this out.
G'day everybody, I'm the Global Surveyor. Welcome to video number 2 for 2026, doing another boundary marking survey. Check out this place. And today I'll be looking for some old survey marks, some more recent survey marks, and putting in a few pegs for the purpose of a new fence. So stick around, hope you enjoy the video. And don't forget, if you like surveying, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, share the videos with your friends, colleagues, surveying friends, or if you just like surveying or you like adventure videos, you've come to the right place. Sit back and relax and enjoy the video. Let's go. Flowers are out, still towards the end of summer. Check out these native flowers. How awesome is that? So I've done a bit of survey work here on this road in Leedsvale. Check out the cliffs here, little caves. This is just a fantastic place to work, isn't it? Look at this. You could be stuck in an office, maybe in the air conditioning if it's a boiling hot day, and yes, that is comfortable, but check out this place. So just down there is the Hawkesbury River, and just down there is my job. Okay, so here's the survey plan I'm using today. I've done some survey work further up the road on magnetic meridian bearing, and I've been able, using that and previous GPS measurements, I've been able to figure out a difference between MM and MGA, Map Grid of Australia, and it's a difference of 8 degrees 54 minutes. So what I've done with this plan is I've swung that by 8 degrees 54 and basically tacked this survey onto the survey that I had further up the road, hoping that now that everything's coordinated, I should be able to use the Leica GS18, which I've got just there. I'm just setting it up, letting it warm up, and I should be able to stake out all of these points and maybe land within maybe 0.1 of a metre, hopefully even less than that, which would be fantastic. And what I'll do is find as many of these reference points as I can and measure them with the GPS and then do a localization. Once I've done the localization, I'll be able to mark this little boundary here going down to the river and this little boundary here. As an overall thing, I'm working on lot 32, and we're going to be marking the western boundary and sort of a northeastern boundary there. So that's today's survey. Like I said, here's a Leica GS18, and somewhere in here is an old mark from the 1800s. So let's go find it now.
RTK initialized.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. RTK initialized. I was actually quite worried that the telephone and internet reception here would be quite poor. Looks like we're okay. Okay, so according to my plan here, we're looking for drill hole and wing, an old broad arrow and wing, I think, or drill hole and wings on a boundary, point number 43. I'll type that in now, 43, and it says 30 odd meters. Now I've got to make sure it's in tilt compensation, otherwise the GPS won't take me in the right direction. So I'll just get that going now.
Tilt compensation started.
There we go, tilt compensation started. We are 26.
Tilt compensation stopped. Tilt compensation started.
We've got to make sure tilt compensation's on. That will enable me to walk in the right direction, and the arrow will be facing the right direction. So it's 26 meters. So let's go for a walk.
Compensation started.
Let's see what we can find. Sometimes
Tail compensation stopped.
Sometimes when I've been in the bush too.
Tail compensation stopped. RTK initialized.
You can see I've got my orange vest on here, and actually I've got my dark green shirt. I sometimes, when I'm surveying, I try not to make too much noise, so turn down the volume of the GS18 and try not to draw too much attention, because sometimes people don't like you walking around their boundaries, especially in places like this. They think you're up to no good. So we are 4.3 meters away from this mark, and I can see the remains of some ribbon on a post. We could be in luck. Let's see how we go.
RTK initialization locked.
1 meter. 0.2. Just here. Let's see how we go. Check this out. We have a line of rocks here, a line of rocks there. That is called a lock spit. The boundary is heading down in this direction, and we have a survey mark here. Let's see what we can find. Somewhere here. I'll put the GPS down. Sometimes if you don't find something, get your GPS back out and restake the mark, which is what I've done. Let's have a look. I can see some paint. Put this GPS down. Got to watch it here. There's a bit of barbed wire here too. You want to be careful. Just under this rock here. Check this out. Oh, you beauty. Okay, so we've got a drill hole and 3 wings. So that's excellent. So I'll be able to give that a read now. And let's just check the accuracy.
RTK initialized.
So my calculations from further up the road and tacking this survey on, and I'm landing within, look at that, 5 mils, 0. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just goes to show my calculations are pretty cool, and we're off to a really good start. So I'm going to give that a read now. Okay, so we're going to measure this now. It'll be 0.2000, and I'm going to code this as drill hole and wing number 43. So when I do my localization later, I'll know exactly that point number 2000 is drill hole and wing number 43. Mosquitoes make it awkward too, because I'm trying to hold the pole. I've turned the tilt compensation off for the purpose of recording these, because I find I get better accuracy, and I'm trying to hold the pole still, and these bloody darn mosquitoes start biting your hands or flying around your face. It's very, very awkward. Gee, it's peaceful. You can hear the birds and the mosquitoes. Another thing I like to do too is averaging the points. So I'm observing this point 3 times, calling it 2000 each time, and storing it. So what the device does is mean up the 3 observations and still stores it only as 1 point. You can get that information back later when you're back in the office or back on the controller, but for the purpose of a localization, I only want 1 point. So I'm calling this point number 2000, reading it 3 times, and that will be the point I use for my localization.
Point stored.
You can see here I've taken 3 observations and the residuals of the positions and the height. The height's not so important. The position is pretty good, 10 mils, 9 mils, 11 mils. We are out here
Holy cow, yes, look. Most people never see survey marks because they're hidden in places like this. Sometimes it's squeezing through cliffs, pushing through thick bush. Other times it's fighting through terrain like this just to get a GPS fix in the first place. And you don't always know what you're looking for, even if it's still there. And yes, I actually get paid to do this. Finding small survey marks hidden in places most people would never look. You can see I've got my orange vest on here, and actually I've got my dark green shirt. I sometimes, when I'm surveying, I try not to make too much noise, so turn down the volume of the GS18 and try not to draw too much attention, because sometimes people don't like you walking around their boundaries, especially in places like this. They think you're up to no good. So we are 4.3 metres away from this mark, and I can see the remains of some ribbon on a post. We could be in luck. Let's see how we go. 1 metre, 0.2, just here. Let's see how we go. Check this out. We have a line of rocks here, a line of rocks there. That is called a lock spit. The boundary is heading down in this direction, and we have a survey mark here. Let's see what we can find. I can see some paint. Put this GPS down. Gotta watch it here. There's a bit of barbed wire here too. You want to be careful. Just under this rock here. Check this out. Oh, you beauty. Okay, so we've got a drill hole and 3 wings, kind of like a broad arrow almost. But of this, I think this is just a drill hole and 3 wings. So that's excellent. So I'll be able to give that a read now. And let's just check the accuracy. So my calculations from further up the road and tacking this survey on, and I'm landing within, look at that, 5 mils, 0. It's incredible. Like every single job I do, it is adventurous and sometimes downright bloody dangerous. Hanging on for dear life here. There's a cliff here, and I think this survey mark will be close to the cliff. I've got to get, it'll be somewhere here, but I can't actually have a look at my controller just yet, because as you'll see, I've got to take it easy. Whoa, I don't want to fall off the cliff. Okay. Well, that's encouraging. It's only 800, as in 0.8 of a metre, somewhere here. 700, just underneath this log here. I wonder if I can break this off. You see how if you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you want to hold on to something, you want to make sure that it's not going to break. I've got these boundary marks coordinated, and that's why I'm able to stake out this mark. You can see I've got a bipod here too, because I don't really want to be standing here if I don't have to. 0.8, 50 mils and 200. It's about there. See what we can find. And again, we don't want to fall off that cliff. So it's in this vicinity somewhere. What have we got here? Look, I can see the remains of a wing. Now this is an old rock mark. I believe it might even have a broad arrow, according to... It does. Holy cow! Yes! Look, we'll start off here. This is fantastic. This is a really old mark from the 1800s. So we've got the wing here, the wing here. Now straight away we can tell this one's got a circular hole, not a square one. But check out the broad arrow. How awesome's that? I'll give it a coat of paint. Okay, gonna give it a coat of paint. Oh, don't drop your phone. Be in big trouble if we drop our phones, especially off the cliff. Okay, we're going to give this drill hole a coat of paint. There's the wing. I'm sure the surveyor that put this in the 1800s won't mind a bit of yellow paint. Will help the next surveyor find it. Although this block of land here, it's not likely to be ever subdivided further. Now, I'm just doing a boundary adjustment, so the chances of anyone actually using this mark again is it's not likely. It's not easy to walk around places like this. Not easy at all. 23 metres. Not easy. I might just go over here and have a look. See, it's quite possible that the only way down is down through here, down through this gully. And I really need this mark. It seemed like the last time I had to do this on the other side of the property, I had to squeeze down through this gap, or a gap like this. Go over here and see what this GPS is telling me. Again, 20 metres. Oh dear. It's down the bottom. It's down there. I think I've got no choice but to go down there. Look at this cliff. Holy cow. And this is the fun bit. Squeeze through this gap. Make sure everything's on nice and tight. Try and grab hold of any rock holds I can find to guide myself down. Excellent rocks. It's a fantastic cliff. Now we're almost at the bottom, which is great. Yeah, the awkward thing is I'm going to have to go back up that way. Okay. I'm at the bottom. Let's go find this GI pipe. And just getting around the edge of that cliff's hard enough. But check this out. Here's the lock spit here. The original lock spit. And according to the survey plan that I had, the reference mark was over here. In fact, it's here. So I'll give that another read, and then I'm going to stick a peg in here at the corner. Might be able to see I've painted this rock yellow, and just in here is the GI pipe, which I couldn't believe someone would be down here. I thought for sure, and I shouldn't think that, but I thought maybe they'd decided it was too hard and just not mark it and say it was marked. But sure enough, a tough old bastard of a surveyor back in the, I can't think of when it was now, 20s or 40s or something like that, put that mark in. So well done. It's not far away, 2.2 metres. Probably on this flat rock. Yep, found it. So this is a broad arrow. You know the convicts uniform? Yeah. Well, it's a government mark and they call it a broad arrow. I think there are numbers here. Check these numbers out. So we've got, should say numbers 154, 155, I think. 55, so it's portion 154. That's 155. There's 154, and I mean it's like a work of art really, because, well, I don't think young kids would have the skills these days to chisel numbers like that, you know. I think the mark is just the head of the broad arrow. This is a reference mark, so it's not the corner. But the guys the surveyor's assistants, you know, they were pretty skilled craftspeople.
They're perfect, aren't they?
Yeah. For me, that's the best way to end the week. It's incredible. It is quite challenging when you have all this survey gear to carry. You've got to be really careful that you don't slip groovy little caves. There's a little easy gap here. Oh, that's not too bad. Just got to hang on nice and tight, and sometimes the trick can be is how do you get back down? So you've got to really remember how you got up here in the first place. 27 metres. It drops off quite a bit there, and going down the edge of this cliff here in the gap was the way to get down. So what I'm going to do is tie a bit of ribbon here on this tree. That will enable me to remember how to get back down, because once you're up there it can be very confusing. It's always good to carry some ribbon, even if you're not carrying a bag with pegs. Just carry some ribbon in your pocket. Gee, well, I'm on rock. That's a encouraging sign. Oh, I had to get through that lantana, which was a bit scratchy, and we're 1 metre away. I'll just point this here. It's saying 180 and 300. It's sort of, it's right here, right under this thing. Okay, drill hole and wing. Let's find it. A few deviations, a few rocks here. That's a good sign. How am I going to find this? Drill hole and wing. Might have to get the GPS out again. Have a look. Okay. Bottom of that pole is where we're going to look. Again, I've got to move this pole out of the way, but I'm remembering where that was. Put the pole GPS receiver down. I can see this little hole here. Well, not a reference mark yet, but I can see that's where the pole was. So I use a bit of a stick here. Clear it out. I think we'll have to clear some of this. What's that? There it is there. Can you see it? Can you see it? Leave me a comment if you can. If you can't, keep watching. Look. Do try to keep my nails half nice. Get a bit of a stick there, clean it out. This drill hole and wing, there's the wing. It's been worn away. I think I'll have to come back up the road here with my car, because that would have been the easiest way to get here. I didn't realise it was going to be so awkward. There's the drill hole, wing, rock. What an adventure. So yeah, it's just a fantastic place to work. Check out this tree fern. Incredible. I mean, I really get to work in some amazing places. Just mind-blowing, really. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Okay, time to go find some survey marks. Holy cow! Check these rocks out. No wonder they say falling rocks do not stop. Check out the cave. How the devil are you going to get up there to do a survey? My survey plan showed a lot of measurements along the river here, being the frontage, the river frontage of my lot. It also noted that at the back corner there are absolutely no way of placing any marks. It said corner inaccessible, corner not marked. And I sort of scratched my head because I've been up there. But I can see why they didn't do that. They were surveying along this road. But they had to go up there. Look at these rocks. Look at that cave. There'd be just no way of marking this. Now you can see here where they've blasted the rock out. See here. Drill a hole and put some TNT, gelignite or some sort of explosives to bust out the rock. But again, absolutely no way of climbing up there with your theodolite in 1880 or at any time to do a survey. This road's been widened and I'm hoping to find some survey marks, but first I've got to figure out where I am. I'm going to head down there now and have a look. Down the bottom in this wetlands here, check out the little bridge. And running stream. I've come from up there where that power line is. That's where I was wandering around before, measuring some trees right at the top of that hill. Wow, with a bit of calculation, things have paid off, thank goodness. Here's a hole. Get down low here. I could see this timber stake here. See this remains of a timber stake and remains of a peg. And I haven't got my, I do have my measuring tape on me. The reference is 457. Well, that's pretty ratty. There, that's a pretty ratty looking peg, and it's not even firm as this line sitting there. But if we measure from that 457, and you might be able to make it out, but I'm going to give it a coat of paint because that's the only way you can see it. It's really dark in this hole. Try not to spray my UV camera. Wow, there we have a GI pipe. A GI pipe in amongst all of this on a Friday afternoon. Oh dear, this canopy's thick. I'm going to have to try and cut a hole in it to be able to read that because I struggled just to read this post. But I'm super excited about that. I'll give it a go now. I'll get my bipod and clear a bit of the canopy, I think. You beauty. Okay, well, sun's starting to go down and I've cleared a bit of the canopy, not much. I mean, it's pretty darn thick. I've got the Leica GS18 and the GLS 30 carbon fibre pole being supported by my Topcon bipod, and I really like this Topcon bipod because it's got a really nice metal screw and a clamp system there. Like, really, I honestly think it's just a really well made bipod. Of all the bipods I've owned, this is probably the best one so far. Wow. What do you think, hey? Pretty cool. Gee. So I've got one GI pipe here and I've got a GI pipe up the top. And that's all I've got. Now I really want to find a rock mark, and that was going to be the star of this video, the most important thing for the video, but I'll see if I can show it to you. At the moment I've really got to get a really decent reading on this mark because that's all I've got. But it's 4:40 on a Friday afternoon. People would probably be on their way home. I'm not going to give up yet. I'm going to get a decent reading on this. I'm going to do a 2-point localization. I'm going to go look for an old rock mark, hopefully just beyond my car there, and hopefully I can find it. I'm looking for a rock mark.
Okay, visualization lost.
I think it'd be fantastic if the mark was
Tail compensation started. Tail compensation stopped.
on the road, but I've got a sneaking suspicion it's not.
Tail compensation
It
started.
keeps wanting to take me up there.
RTK initialized. RTK initialization lost. Tail compensation started.
12 meters
Tail
up there.
compensation stopped. Tail compensation started.
It's getting dark.
Tail compensation stopped.
2 marks is bare minimum, which is what I've got. 3's better. And let's see what we've got. I don't have a U-butte fix yet, but it's about 8 meters up that way. I might try up here first, at the side of this rock. Whew. Hard to get up here. Oh dear. Oh, there's some huge cliffs there. 6 meters. Again, not all that well fixed, but I'll take the rough fix, and it brings me over. Whoa, brings me over to this rock. 3 meters. Come on. I just needed to go fixed. I'll go out and here we are, initialized. 1. I'll get it in tilt. 1 meter. It's on top of this rock here. It's on top of this rock now. To me, that's an excellent place to put a reference mark because the thing is nice and flat. So here we go. 600 mils. Check out the view. Sun's going down. 8 satellites. 100 by 170. Just there, right here, where a looks like a kangaroo has gone to the loo. I can see some paint or coloured stuff. I've got paint. Guys, this is the most amazing bit. This is a rock mark from the 1800s. I've got to put my GPS down. This is too exciting for me. Holy moly. I'm going to take the camera off so I can show you. Firstly, check out the view and check out this rock mark. Holy cow. Wow. What a way to end the day. I thought there may have been an Arthur road. I think there may have been some adjustments here, but it doesn't matter. Check this out. Broad arrow on a rock. I'll give it a coat. It's had a bit of yellow paint, so someone's found this before. It's not the first time it's been found, unfortunately. I do get excited by finding marks. Okay, yeah. The yellow paint may spoil the moment there, but you can see what I mean. Drill hole, 3 wings on top of this massive cliff. Wow, just before the sun got down. And I didn't even think I'd get that far. Wow, I've got to put my camera back around my neck. Okay, the GPS receiver. I think this video is going to be a long one, guys. If you've stayed this far, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit share.
RTK initialized.
And I got a fix. And it's saying I'm within 9 mils and 20 mils. Goodness me. I don't think I can get any better than that. Holy cow. I'm in tilt compensation mode, so what I'm going to do is turn the tilt off, escape, go into measure mode. I find that if I'm not in tilt and put it under time and just hold the bubble there, I get the sort of the quality that I'm after. So I'll code this broad arrow BARROW and go 3D quality. Knowing my luck, I'll have to sit here for a little while. I should have bought my bipod. I was just felt a little bit easier to go without it. Wow, what a place, eh? And again, I'm blessed with all these rocks, which I really love. And there's a broad arrow sitting proudly on top of this rock here that no one's found in a very long time. And it's frogs, I think they're frogs, are going crazy. I think it's time to go home. 3 locations, all showing the same thing hidden in plain sight. Most people walk past these without even knowing they're there. Thanks for watching. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor here. I'm out here on the banks of the Hawkesbury River, New South Wales, Australia. And you can see this nice brand new roadway here. We've got some concrete block, retaining wall, road barrier, some shotcrete there to stabilise the ground, as you can see there. And the reason we have this here is because this area got smashed by the floods a couple of years ago, and Greens Road has just been repaired and reinstated, and you can see the drainage pits there under the road. Quite groovy. Well, what's even more groovier are these monitoring prisms that the surveyor that was working on the site has set up. You can see one here. It's like a circular prism mounted in the rock, a shotcrete, and we've got more here. In fact, we've got quite a few. You can see the Leica circular prism mounted on a Leica spigot and a 5/8 thread bolt fixed into the concrete here, and we've got quite a few of these. And the reason that these have been installed, we can actually see one here. Here's another one. Is for monitoring, to make sure, there we go, I want to make sure that the wall is stable, and I think the surveyors would be coming back here maybe once every couple of months. Probably in the early times, shortly after it was constructed, there would have been more frequently. So they'd be on the other side of the river reading bearings and distances to these targets, and there's actually quite a few. There's another one down here. And these are for monitoring, as I said. There's one there, there's one there, one there, one there, one there. I probably can count another 10 or 15 easily along that wall, maybe 20 or 30 as we go down there. Got another one here. So there's been quite a bit of investment from a survey point of view to ensure that this fantastically brand new concrete block retaining wall, great improvement to Greens Road, stays put, and that information can get relayed back to the engineers, who will then make an assessment as to whether something else needs to be done. Have some other little marks there too, which obviously means something. Surveyors that were working on this would have their control marks all over the place. And the prisms they're using, you can see they've been here for quite some time, because look at the cobwebs. So it's quite possible that they haven't been on this side of the road for any reason. They just set up over there. A lot easier to see from over that side of the river and to read all of these marks. Here's another one here. Again, haven't been used for a while, but fixed on the shotcrete there. So again, quite a bit of investment, but that's what surveyors do. We're employed to do lots of interesting jobs, whether it's marking boundaries, like so, there's a survey peg there, or monitoring, or being on building sites, or out here by the banks of the Hawkesbury River. Surveying is a pretty interesting career, and if you're always looking for something, you're sick of being in an office and you're looking for a career change, well, why not choose surveying? Because it can really take you to some amazing places. Like, check out these rocks. Check out the rocks. So today's little video, just to show you some of the exciting things surveyors do, monitoring the movement of this fantastic brand new concrete block retaining wall here on Greens Road, Lower Portland, New South Wales, Australia. There's another monitoring prism up there. If you happen to be the surveyor watching this, who may have put these prisms in, give me a hoy. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I'm the Global Surveyor. See you later. G'day everyone, the Global Surveyor. Look where I am. Absolute jungle. Well, it clears a bit in that direction. Actually up there on top of the bank is a ginormous dam. And I'm stuck under a tree here. I have 24 satellites with an accuracy of 20 mils vertically and 15 mils horizontally. Check out this old post. Really old post, and a more recent chain wire fence, and abutting that is a post and netting fence. It's a real mixed bag. Oh, we've got some barbed wire here too. It's a real mixed bag of fences, and I'm looking for a galvanized iron pipe. I've done some calculations, and where the bottom of the pole is actually where it's supposed to be, but it's quite possible that it could be a couple of 100 mils in this direction, because I found a mark at the front which was partially disturbed, but my calculations suggest that I've got to go a little bit further on, so I'm going to have a look right now. Okay, so I've dug a bit of a hole here. The strange thing is, my calculations are saying that the pipe is right where this timber post is. Now that timber post is quite old, and I think if you were undertaking a survey and you were trying to choose a sort of a hierarchy of evidence, this timber post would probably have more weight than this more recent chain wire fence. And well, even the barbed wire fence there is pretty ratty. But persistence pays. I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if I dug underneath this post. And you probably already guessed what I'm about to say. But check this out. Here's the post. Nice little post here. And look what I found. GI pipe. It's bloody old. This pipe is from the 1950s, and it's sitting right up against this post. I'll put a bit of ribbon on it. See how round it is there. Sitting, and it's in reasonably good nick underneath this old timber post. Now, I forgot my little camera mount today, so I'm going to have to hold this with my hands. Thank goodness I've got a tilt compensation GPS. So firstly, I'll just put the end of the pipe, the end of the pole on the pipe, and it's telling me, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's saying I don't have to, if I turn it around this way, it's saying I've got to go about 80 millimeters towards the road and 140 millimeters up the hill. Well, my calculations were quite rough, and I hadn't found any decent survey marks, but now that I found this, I'll be able to adjust everything accordingly. Holy moly. But that's not bad. I mean, look where we are, right under these trees. The Leica GS18 is doing really well. We've got 17 satellites, 25 now, accuracy of 20 by 16. That's 20 mils vertically and 16 mils horizontal. And I've got a GI pipe. I can't believe it. What a great way to end the week. Can't believe it. So this is part 3 of my adventure here on this horse paddock. Although this is not the horse paddock, this is down in no man's land. Look at the lantana, and look where I am. I'll give this a read now. Okay, we've got this in measure mode. Bit tricky to film this and hold, but I'll do my best. Put it on the pipe, like so. Got it in tilt compensation, so I'll just do some that one was out of limits, so I'll do it again. Point stored. Scroll down. Go down a little bit further, you might be able to see the pole. You can see straight away the bubble's not level, and that's because I'm leaning that up against the post. Don't need the bubble. Read it again.
Point store.
Some sort of closing comments about this GI pipe for this part of the survey, and that is that when you're looking for survey marks, don't always assume that the fence post is at the corner. And I think you've just got to be, because when people come along and put these chain wire fences in, they may not get a surveyor to come here and put some pegs in, so they're sort of putting the fence back up maybe where it used to be or where they think it is, and therefore they're not going to dig a hole. They're not going to know that there's a reference mark under the ground, and they don't actually know where the corner is. So the corner, surprisingly, is 1'6", a 1'6". I don't want to fill the hole in, but I can see my foot there. That's a foot and a little bit. So we're talking here, it's about 0.457 of a metre is where the corner is, and it's kind of opposite the chain wire fence, which is surprising. So again, you just got to make sure that you explore where you think it is and a little bit beyond, which is what I did. I had a bit of a dig over here and couldn't find anything. But wow, hey, that's pretty cool. 1950s GI pipe found in this jungle. I think it's time to get out of here. Wow, can you believe it? I'm exhausted. Gee. Not easy to walk around here. Again, if you've got things in your pockets, I want to make sure you don't fall out. So that GI pipe will be a huge help in determining where the property boundaries are. That lantern is hard on your hands. Oh. And your face. Scratching your face. Whew. We'll just get up the top of this damn bank. Bloody damn bank. Hear the frogs? It's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and sometimes you go to these places, you never know when you're going to finish. Check out this dam. How peaceful, beautiful place. I guess that's one of the beauties of surveying, you know, is you get to walk around places like this. Yeah, so as I said before, this is part 3 of my huge survey of this property, and I'm at the tail end now.
We started off measuring with the Leica GS18 and picking up a whole bunch of property features, natural surface, trees, fencing, services, and I showed you how amazing it is with the tilt compensation. And then second part was using the Leica GS15 as a base to tackle some of the more challenging parts of the site and establishing some precise survey control with some static observations. And then the third part of the project was finding some survey marks, which I've done down the bottom there. So many thanks for watching. It's just a shorter video today, and stay tuned for the next video. I'm just coming up to the site here where I saw the most enormous python, and you won't believe me, but I'll show you a photo. I feel sorry for the person that's going to have to remove some of those piles of timber there. I mean, it's only probably going to end up on the truck anyway, but they might get a bit of a surprise when they pull open the timber, because the python, not necessarily dangerous, you know, just a carpet python, found its way out of the scrub, probably enjoying its time up in those turpentine trees, and it's come down and it's now sitting somewhere in that pile of timber. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and make sure you hit like and subscribe to the channel. Plenty of surveying videos coming up. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye. Just here, let's see how we go. Check this out. G'day everybody, I'm the Global Surveyor. Welcome to video number 2 for 2026. Doing another boundary marking survey. Check out this place. And today I'll be looking for some old survey marks, some more recent survey marks, and putting in a few pegs for the purpose of a new fence. So stick around, hope you enjoy the video. And don't forget, if you like surveying, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, share the videos with your friends, colleagues, surveying friends, or if you just like surveying or you like adventure videos, you've come to the right place. Sit back and relax and enjoy the video. Let's go. Flowers are out, still towards the end of summer. Check out these native flowers. How awesome is that? So I've done a bit of survey work here on this road in Leetsvale. Check out the cliffs here, little caves.
This is just a fantastic place to work, isn't it? Look at this. You could be stuck in an office, maybe in the air conditioning if it's a boiling hot day, and yes, that is comfortable, but check out this place. So just down there is the Hawkesbury River, and just down there is my job. Okay, so here's the survey plan I'm using today. I've done some survey work further up the road on magnetic meridian bearing, and I've been able, using that and previous GPS measurements, I've been able to figure out a difference between MM and MGA, Map Grid of Australia, and it's a difference of 8 degrees 54 minutes. So what I've done with this plan is I've swung that by 8 degrees 54 and basically tacked this survey onto the survey that I had further up the road, hoping that now that everything's coordinated, I should be able to use the Leica GS18, which I've got just there. I'm just setting it up, letting it warm up, and I should be able to stake out all of these points and maybe land within maybe 0.1 of a metre, hopefully even less than that, which would be fantastic. And what I'll do is find as many of these reference points as I can and measure them with the GPS and then do a localization. Once I've done the localization, I'll be able to mark this little boundary here going down to the river and this little boundary here. As an overall thing, yes, I'm working on lot 32 and we're going to be marking the western boundary and sort of a northeastern boundary there. So that's today's survey. Like I said, here's a Leica GS18, and somewhere in here is an old mark from the 1800s. So let's go find it now.
RTK initialized.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. RTK initialized. I was actually quite worried that the telephone and internet reception here would be quite poor. Looks like we're okay. Okay, so according to my plan here, we're looking for drill hole and wing, an old broad arrow and wing, I think, or drill hole and wings on a boundary, point number 43. I'll type that in now, 43, and it says 30 odd meters. Now I've got to make sure it's in tilt compensation, otherwise the GPS won't take me in the right direction. So I'll just get that going now.
Tilt compensation started.
There we go, tilt compensation started. We are 26.
Tilt compensation stopped. Tilt compensation started.
We've got to make sure tilt compensation's on. That will enable me to walk in the right direction, and the arrow will be facing the right direction. So it's 26 meters. So let's go for a walk.
Tilt compensation started.
Let's see what we can find. Sometimes when I've been in the bush too, you can see I've got my orange vest on here, and actually I've got my dark green shirt. I sometimes, when I'm surveying, I try not to make too much noise, so turn down the volume of the GS18 and try not to draw too much attention, because sometimes people don't like you walking around their boundaries, especially in places like this. They think you're up to no good. So we are 4.3 meters away from this mark, and I can see the remains of some ribbon on a post. We could be in luck. Let's see how we go. 1 meter. 0.2, just here. Let's see how we go. Check this out. We have a line of rocks here, a line of rocks there. That is called a lock spit. The boundary is heading down in this direction, and we have a survey mark here. Let's see what we can find. Somewhere here. I'll put the GPS down. sometimes if you don't find something, get your GPS back out and restake the mark, which is what I've done. Let's have a look. I can see some paint. Put this GPS down. Gotta watch it here. There's a bit of barbed wire here too. You want to be careful. Just under this rock here. Check this out. Oh, you beauty. Okay, so we've got a drill hole and 3 wings. So that's excellent. So I'll be able to give that a read now. And let's just check the accuracy. So my calculations from further up the road and tacking this survey on, and I'm landing within, look at that, 5 mils, 0. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just goes to show my calculations are pretty cool, and we're off to a really good start. So I'm going to give that a read now. Okay, so we're going to measure this now. It'll be 0.2000, and I'm going to code this as drill hole and wing number 43. So when I do my localization later, I'll know exactly that point number 2000 is drill hole and wing number 43. Mosquitoes make it awkward too, because I'm trying to hold the pole. I've turned the tilt compensation off for the purpose of recording these, because I find I get better accuracy. And I'm trying to hold the pole still, and these bloody darn mosquitoes start biting your hands or flying around your face. It's very, very awkward. Gee, it's peaceful. You can hear the birds and the mosquitoes. Another thing I like to do too is averaging the points. So I'm observing this point 3 times, calling it 2000 each time, and storing it. So what the device does is mean up the 3 observations and still stores it only as 1 point. You can get that information back later when you're back in the office or back on the controller, but for the purpose of a localization, I only want 1 point. So I'm calling this point number 2000, reading it 3 times, and that will be the point I use for my localization.
Point stored.
You can see here I've taken 3 observations and the residuals of the positions and the height. The height's not so important. The position is pretty good, 10 mils, 9 mils, 11 mils. We are out here, remembering that GPS accuracy is like a champagne cork. At any one moment in time, you can expect your horizontal accuracy to fall within the center of the roundness of a champagne cork, and your vertical accuracy to be within the height or the length of a champagne cork. So we're talking 10 to 15 millimeters horizontally, 15 to 20 millimeters vertically at any one moment in time. But again, if you mean up all the points, you're heading in the right direction. Another thing, be careful of barbed wire. There's barbed wire everywhere here. Trip hazard. So just be careful when you're walking around the bush. You can see some here. It's on the ground, tied to this star picket here. So when you're walking around the bush, not only make sure you don't fall down little holes, fall off a cliff, you don't get tangled up in some barbed wire at the same time. Okay, next point is number 46, and got to get back into tilt compensation so I get taken in the right direction.
Tilt compensation started.
What you got to do is just jiggle. You just got to jiggle the GPS around, and that will get the little green pill bubble symbol there, which shows you are in tilt compensation. And according to my measurements, it says 37 meters down here. I think I can leave the car here. It's not going to be in anyone's way. What worries me a bit is you see people live down here, it's like their holiday. Some people live here and some are holiday rentals or holiday homes, but people do a bit of clearing for driveways and what have you, and aren't necessarily aware that there are survey marks here. I can see it's saying 6 meters, 6.4 meters, somewhere up here. Again, we like to do a bit of bush bashing, don't we, in this job? If you like the idea of bush bashing, gee, I've got to climb over these trees, that's a bit awkward. Give me a like, thumbs up, share the video. Very awkward.
RTK initialized. RTK
Gee,
initialization.
I'm right on it.
RTK
What have we got here? I'll put this down. Turn my volume down. Put it down here very carefully. Beautiful. Drill hole. Wing. Another wing. You beauty. Look at the accuracy. 10 mils, 15 mils by 10 mils. That's incredible. I'll give that a read now. Okay, the next point is point 58 and it's a drill hole and wing. Now, this is going to be exciting stuff. It's 11 meters down here. I've got plenty of survey marks to choose from, so I don't actually have to use this mark, but I'll just come down here. It's quite possible that the people that put this fence in just fenced for convenience sake, and I'll just hold my pole here. Yeah, it's another 6 meters, which is down over this fence and down probably at the bottom of that little cliff there. So on this occasion I'm going to give point number 58 a miss. I don't really want to go down there. I mean, I do like climbing down cliffs, don't get me wrong, but for the purpose of my project today, I don't have to find every last point. But if you are using GPS and you are doing a localization, the best way to get the best way to get the accuracy that you need is measure as many marks as possible. But on this occasion, I'll give that one a miss. I think there are a few survey marks down the road here. I'll go look now. I think what we're going to do is go right to the very bottom first and work my way back. So then I've got a nice long line to use. Here we are at the bottom of the hill. Check this out. What a place to work, yeah? It's fantastic. I'll be marking boundaries out along the open cleared land there to the river. I've got GI pipe number 97 and there's a chance that could be there. I might actually see if I can look for that one now. And make sure you don't tread in that ant's nest, because they'll be onto you. Down here, be a bit careful. It's a bit of a crazy fence in a section here, and it's saying 2 meters to the GI pipe. We'll just get over this fence. It's slightly off the boundary. I'm in tilt, so I can lean the pole over. 70 mils and 150, 20 and 60. Right there it is, and I'll have a dig and see what I can find. Put the GPS down here. No electric fence, that's good. So for those non-surveyors, we have survey marks that are either rock marks or pegs, or reference marks called a galvanised iron pipe. There's something hard here, I can feel it as I dig. And look, here we go. There, galvanised iron pipe, good as the day it was put in. I thought it was a bit odd because normally the reference marks are outside referenced in, but I can kind of see why that reference mark was put inside, because it's a little bit flatter there and it would have been awkward here. So let's just have a quick sticky beak. And oh, I don't believe it. 5 mils by 10 mils, 0 by 8. This is incredible. The accuracy, I'm right on it. Incredible. We're reading this 3 times. This is point number 2002. I'm on to the last reading now. So just let that record.
Point stored.
Point stored. Head back out to the car. For our international friends, we have some kangaroos up ahead. Kangaroos up ahead. Kangaroos are such cool animals. They're native Australian animals. Can't really have them as pets, although some people do. There's one scratching its back. Gorgeous creatures. And as I approach them, they will hop away. Some of them will want to take you on. You can see there's a big boy here. He's holding his ground, and he's going to go. It's such a great job surveying because you get to work in these amazing places. The river's just there. There's a road on the other side of the river. And very harmless if you from overseas. These are kangaroos. So I'm actually going to be heading just over there behind the trees. I saw a few more kangaroos scurry up the hill there, and that's where I'm heading. So I'm in the car now. Okay, so I've got my backpack full of pegs. Got my GS18. We're going to go find a reference mark drill hole and wing in rock at an old intersection of fences. It'll be interesting to see if that's there, and also look for a corner up the top. So let's see what I can find. Okay, it's 46 meters away, but I've got to go up this hill where some of the kangaroos disappeared to. The hill's actually quite easy to walk, bit of patchy rock there and grass. A lot easier to walk up this than it is walking through the bush. Look, there we go. Kangaroos jumping away quickly. There's actually quite a few of them up here. I don't mind seeing the odd kangaroo because it's better than finding a snake. Gee, they can bounce up the hill quickly. I can't go up the hill that quickly. Okay, 8 meters. Look, here's an old fence here. So you can see the river down there. We've got this old fence and an old timber post here, which is possibly what they're referring to, intersection of fences. And we have a reference mark.
RTK initialized.
3.2 meters away. Getting close. 130, 180. I've got it. Excellent. Just clear it away. There we have it. All these marks that I found here, I'll give them a coat of paint later because I don't want to run out of time, otherwise it's a long way to drive here. But look, we've got drill hole and wing. Let's see how accurate this one is. I don't believe it. 4 mils by 20 mils. I often wonder, why do we need to do a localization at all? This is fantastic. I'll give that a read now. Yeah, if you've got that opportunity to connect your survey to another survey that's potentially coordinated, that's going to save you hours and hours of time in the field. So highly recommend it. Even if you can get the survey on some pseudo MGA coordinates, map grid of Australia coordinates, it's going to save you a lot of time. And that's what I've done. My survey was a couple of 100 meters up the road, so I was expecting to be, maybe 0.1 or 0.5 out of whack, but as it happens, I'm almost exactly 100%, so I just can't believe it. I'm so excited. I'm going to get this mark measured and do a localization now, and then we can start finally marking the boundaries. And while I'm here, that reference mark is related to a corner. The intersection of fences, well, that's just an old post. And there's some fencing there, but look at this. Look what I found. The original corner here. Old peg. So I'll give that a read too. And I'll tie some ribbon around that so the client knows. But there you go. There's the old peg, the old original corner. And the front corner of the property is up that hill, which I'm going to go find now. Okay, the next corner. Well, I'm committed because I have to do the job, but it's 83 meters. 83 meters, and it's all cliff and hill. Well, here we go. Oh, kangaroos have made it a little easier for me because there's a bit of a track here. It's quite possibly following the fence line, although there is the remains of a fence here, so someone has made it slightly easier for me. Gee, this is exhausting work. I'm glad it's overcast and not as hot as it was the last couple of days. Holy cow, I'd be definitely out of breath. What have I got myself in for? Check out the cliffs. And it says 40 meters. Oh dear. Well, I can't drive, and I know it's going to be easier getting there. One thing I'll do is just lower my pole here. I'm almost certain it's not going to be, well, I'm tending to think that if I turn this around, I've got the option. Do I walk along the bottom here where there's a track, or up through those rocks? I think I'm going to go up through the rocks. It is quite challenging when you have all this survey gear to carry. You've got to be really careful that you don't slip groovy little caves. There's a little easy gap here. It's got to hang on nice and tight, and sometimes the trick can be, is how do you get back down So you've got to really remember how you got up here in the first place. 27 metres. It drops off quite a bit there, and going down the edge of this cliff here in the gap was the way to get down. So what I'm going to do is tie a bit of ribbon here on this tree. That will enable me to remember how to get back down, because once you're up there it can be very confusing. It's always good to carry some ribbon, even if you're not carrying a bag with pegs. Just carry some ribbon in your pocket. More ribbon there, and just down there is where I came down that crack. Not far to go now. Not far to go. But yeah, you're all sitting at home, relaxing, watching this, and probably grateful that you don't have to do it yourself. Bit of old fencing here. And just go around here. We'll be getting really close now. It's only 10 metres away. Nice little spider there. Don't want to walk into that. Not that it would hurt you, but you'd have a face full of spider webs. Here's a fence. So we've got to be close now. Let's see what we've got. Put the pole up. We're initialised, so we're fixed. It's still saying 13 metres. Oh dear. It's getting very sketchy. Not much to hold on to. Hopefully these rocks don't fall out. And hang on for dear life.
Initialization
7 metres. Wow. What did I get myself in for? I'll be bummed if this mark's been knocked out like some of the other ones. 4 metres. Oh dear. Gee. Well, I'm on rock. That's a encouraging sign. Oh, I had to get through that lantana, which was a bit scratchy. And we're 1 metre away. I'll just point this here. It's saying 180 and 300. It's sort of... It's right here, right under this thing. Okay. Bottom of that pole is where we're going to look. I can see this little hole here. Well, not a reference mark yet, but I can see that's where the pole was. So I'll use a bit of a stick here. Clear it out. I think we'll have to clear some of this. What's that? There it is there. Can you see it? Can you see it? Leave me a comment if you can. If you can't, keep watching. Look. Do try to keep my nails half nice. Get a bit of a stick there, clean it out. This drill hole and wing, there's the wing. It's been worn away. I think I'll have to come back up the road here with my car, because that would have been the easiest way to get here. I didn't realise it was going to be so awkward. There's the drill hole, wing, rock. What an adventure. And that was only I haven't even started marking the boundaries yet. Goodness me. The accuracy's pretty darn good too, 10 mils by 7. Holy moly. I'll give that a read right now. Okay, we're just going to stake out the corner here. See if there's a peg here, or remains of a peg. You never know. No one's sort of been here for a little while. I'm going to have a look here right now. Okay, so the reference marker's just up the top of this rock here behind the tree where I was leaning up against, and there's a rock there. The corner's here. Check this out. There's the remains of the old peg. Still firm. Yes, it's been worn away, but I'm not going to replace that peg. I'm going to put some ribbon around it, put a stake there, and yeah, say remains of old peg found at corner, and clean it up so the owner knows where to look for it, and it's quite possible I might have to come and show them. So BDY boundary, COR corner, boundary corner, and there's the old peg there. And I'll start placing a line of rocks here to make a lock spit. Just as heaps of loose rocks here. I'll start lying them on the line here. There's a remains of a fence just through here, and I'll start lying the rocks hopefully in 3 directions. I've just got to stake out the other 2 directions just to get the alignment right, but that's called a lock spit, and traditional use in rural boundary surveys to help you find boundaries and marks like this one, like this old original timber peg that's still here and very, very firm, even though the top's knackered. Still very good nick. So I'm going to head back down in a moment and start marking the boundary in the clear. We want to, coming back down, remove the red and white tags, because we use that primarily for the boundaries only. Oh, quite tough. And I have a reference line placed in here. I'm 2.3 metres off the boundary line. 1 metre off the boundary. Actually, it's pretty darn close actually with this tag. I'm going to take it off anyway and see. There's no evidence of any lock spits or marks on the edge of a change in topography. That's generally what you should be doing if you're marking a boundary for the first time. We'll just go up here and have a look. Right on the edge of this drop off here, you wouldn't want to fall down there. Don't fall down there. 900, 500, somewhere very close to here. So what I might actually do, check this tree here. This one here, this little shrub here, is within about 180 of the boundary line. So I might tie a bit of ribbon on here so that from the bottom we can sort of see where we're going. The brief for this survey was primarily to identify the extremities of the block. It wasn't to place lots of marks along the line, so I don't have to be too worried about not placing any, although it would be handy. It's more just a general idea for the client, so we'll just tie some ribbon here, and I'll be making notes. we're close to the boundary line here, so I'm going to make some notes so the client has an idea, but be able to see that red and white from down below, and we're not far up the top there where the corner is. And to keep a few of my loyal fans happy, there was a comment that said that I was placing my pegs incorrectly. Well, these are an urban and a rural type peg because it's 75 mil long and 50 millimeters wide. So boundary corners generally have to be 75 by 75. The boundary line marks have to be at a bare minimum 75 by 35 according to the regs. This is 75 by 50, a little bit bigger. I like to have my pegs square on like that, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room if I don't get the peg in the right place, but I'm going to turn it around this way to keep some of my loyal fans satisfied. Thank you for your comments. Okay, we're back down here at the bottom, or almost at the bottom now. We have to mark this line here. So we've got the old peg here. We've got a line peg part the way up the hill. Got a bit of ribbon on the edge of the rock, and then we've got the old peg and the reference mark at the very top. Now we need to place another mark. I'm just going to put it down here at the bottom of the hill opposite my car. So I'm going to head down there now. And for those wondering, how long does such a project like this take, or how long does it take? Well, obviously I'm spending a bit of time recording and setting the camera up and talking to you and explaining what I'm doing. So, but for a project like this, I've allowed one full day out in the field, and it's a Friday, so it's not really in any rush. But yeah, a full day would be a comfortable time to do what I've got to do. Obviously I'm only by myself, so there's quite a few things to not only film but carry pegs and hit them in, but what a place. What a place. It's so quiet I can hear blowflies. So you want to leave the boundary pegs sort of 50 to 80 millimeters poking out of the ground so they can be seen, although if there's mowing activity like here in this paddock, you might want to lower it down a little bit more. I don't think the mower will get tangled up here. Generally a longer stake would be ideal. That's like a timber stake, or you might be able to find the remains of a star picket there to whack it in beside, which I'll try and do before I leave. And for those who don't really know, this is the survey peg. This is the boundary point. Center of the peg, or a nail in the top of the peg marking the actual boundary line. This is called a stake or an indicator, and it's just a way of helping you find the peg. But if you were measuring something of importance, you'd be measuring from the nail or the point on the peg. Again, sometimes boundaries aren't even marked with pegs. If it's just depending on the brief or the instruction, you might just place a stake. However, the stake is generally not at the boundary. It's close to the point, just helping you find that peg. So, bit of instructional guidance there for you. It's sort of like the finished product. Would I use red and white tape on a regular basis? The answer is no. I generally don't. I generally use like a pink or a orange or a yellow tape, or even some of Gavin's blue tape. Hi Gavin, if you're listening. And but the red and white tape was some safety tape that I bought for a project, and it's sitting in the car. It's been in the car for months and months and months, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. And red and white is a traditional sort of colour for surveying. I think it actually looks pretty cool. What do you reckon? So this video is sort of really like the ultimate boundary marking exercise instructional video. Hope you're enjoying it. It's a slightly long one. It's just to give you a really good idea of what we get up to as surveyors, and if you've got a son or a daughter who's interested in a career for life, something that they get to enjoy the outdoors and get to work in some amazing places like this, then in the description I have some links to some people, close friends of mine, who teach surveying in Australia. G'day to Tim. And if you're looking for a way of learning surveying and working full time, there are some options there too. So check it all out. And if you happen to be interested in any of the survey gear I use, especially Leica, then, and you're in New South Wales or in Australia, contact Christine from CR Kennedy, who sell the Leica survey gear, such as the Leica GS18, CS20 controller, TS16, the new TS20, lots of survey gear. Check it out. I'm not getting any commission for promoting this, but I'm happy to do so. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. Just want to show you, I don't know if you can see, it's a tiny little, what looks like a snowflake symbol. And there's a tiny little arrow like a lightning bolt next to the satellite. Well, that's called RTK bridging. Why is that happening? Well, it's because the internet signal is probably not as reliable down here, and for that very reason, Leica Captivate goes into a program called RTK bridging, which gives you about 10 minutes of sub-centimetre accuracy, just to allow you to get that extra shot or measurement if you go into a place where there is poor telephone reception, internet reception, which you need for CoreSnet. So it's working very, very well, and very impressed. And that happens automatically. You don't have to worry, oh, have I gone into a bad... It will just automatically do that. And I'll investigate that a little bit further. I'm going to have a bite to eat. Okay, so I've placed a couple of line pegs already, which I'm going to recheck shortly. Just one at the bottom of the hill and one part the way up, because the results of the stakeouts for all the survey marks was almost 100%, and I was pretty confident that if I put the peg in as I go, it should be pretty right. I've just undertaken a localization. You can see I've written here my point number 2000, 2001, 2002, 3 and 7. That's the observed points in the controller, and these are the local points: 43 drill hole and wing, 46 drill hole and wing, GI pipe 97, drill hole and wings 54 and 53. So I've written it down there so I know, and I've also put it in here: 2000, 43, 2007, 53, etc, etc, and position only. Now when I hit calculate, I'm not sure how well you can see, the residuals are very low. We've got 11 by 10, 6 by 10, 4 by 3, 2 by 7, 7 by 10. Total residuals of 11 mils by 10 mils with 5 match points over a very, very large area. And after we've done the localization, we want to just go into the job parameters and just make sure that our coordinate system is our localization file and not MGA 2020 or MGA 94, etc. So I'm standing potentially on the high bank of the river. I think just on the other side of those reeds is the low bank, or the mean high watermark component of the river, and I've just placed another peg here towards the end, sort of out of harm's way, although if it did
flood here, it might get a little bit wet, but I'll reference this peg. I'll say from on my sketch, from the peg, a distance to the high water mark. Okay, we're at the other boundary line now, thank goodness for that. It's going to be a little bit easier for me. And I'm just staking out this front corner here, which is my corner point number 90. I'm just going to see, I had a bit of a scratch before, but I didn't pay too much attention. Now I've done the localization, I can get a little bit closer. Something's reasonably firm there. I'm going to give it a look. Had a bit of a scratch around. There's a bit of rock there, but there's no evidence of any old peg. Sometimes when you put a new peg in, you might feel a bit of resistance, so we'll see what happens, but I think it's a brand new peg for this corner. And whilst my line pegs were running square to the boundary as you went down there's more kangaroos, my corner pegs always run along the alignment of the boundary at the corner here, so that's what I'm doing. Check out the size of this casuarina, or she oak. Not necessarily the tall one. Wow. So I've come all the way down the boundary line. This will be the very last peg near the bank, or the high bank. I'm not going to go down to the water itself. Here's an old post here. Very old post. There's the what looks like a, don't know if that's a peg or not, a bit of timber. Very good. I'll put a peg, I think, I'll pick up that old post, but I think I'll put a peg just down here on the edge of the high bank. Okay, so we've made it to the river. Here's the last peg. I've got a peg and the indicator. It's so sandy that you hit the indicator and it almost goes right in the ground. I've got a star picket there. The peg is firm, so it won't go anywhere. Check this out. It is a Friday, why not? Enjoy yourself. Bit of water skiing. I don't have my fishing rod, what a bummer. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for liking the video, thanks for subscribing to the channel, and thanks for leaving comments. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to know anything about the survey or the survey gear I have, please make sure you reach out. And until the next video, everybody, have a great weekend. I'm the Global Surveyor, and see you next time. I'm setting out the world's biggest house, and if I'm out by 10 millimeters, this whole house shifts. And this house is a large one, more than 100 meters long, and I'll show you exactly how I set it out, starting with control, the setup, and pegging it out. Put a tripod here down, and because it's quite sunny today, what I might do in a second is show you the little umbrella holder that I have. Okay, and the weapon of choice today is the Leica TS16. Let's open that. There we go. Such a beautiful instrument. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we've got a battery. Without a battery, it's not going to work. Secondly, turn it on. See the little red dot there? Can you see it? That's the laser pointing down. So I have to firstly move the whole instrument and the legs over to this nail. Okay, so we've got it on the nail. Next thing we want to do is make sure we firm these legs. This one normally I'd find in the concrete here. Just find a little, maybe a place, something like a little bit of a broken piece of concrete or a divot or something like that. Sometimes I get my hammer out and make a little hole, but we want to make sure all the legs are really firm. Ideally, you want to make sure that this is quite level when you do that. In my instance, it's not, because I was trying to get the legs into the grass here, but that doesn't matter for the time being. Next thing we want to do is turn these foot screws until the red laser is sitting on top of the nail, which it is doing now. As you can see, the red laser just sitting on the nail. Then we want to move the legs up and down until the pill bubble is central within the little circle here. I'm going to unclamp the lever here and just lower the total station down until we get close to the pill bubble being in the center. Might have to do it over here. Sometimes I like to turn this face around too so I can see both the electronic bubble and the pill bubble. Do the same. In this instance we've got to go up slightly and we're getting really, really close. If you can see, might not be able to see all that well, but we are getting quite close. Okay, so once we're close, we can now then begin to use the electronic bubble just to fine-tune everything to make sure it's nice and level. Once we've got that, we can double check to make sure that the red laser down there is actually on the nail, which it is in my instance, and I'm just going to show you that right now. See, a bit tricky without blocking, but the red laser is on the nail. We're very good. Maybe a slight minor adjustment. We're ready to set the instrument up. Okay, it's quite a sort of partially overcast and sunny day. Thereabouts of heat, and so in order to just give me that extra bit of accuracy, I have a homemade umbrella holder here. You can see it's made out of 2 star pickets welded at the bottom here to create a foot that you can use the sledgehammer to hit in, and got a couple of brackets here. Holy cow, yes, look. Most people never see survey marks because they're hidden in places like this. Sometimes it's squeezing through cliffs, pushing through thick bush. Other times it's fighting through terrain like this just to get... Holy cow, yes, look. Most people never see survey marks because they're hidden in places like this. Sometimes it's squeezing through cliffs, pushing through thick bush. Other times it's fighting through terrain like this just to get a GPS fix in the first place. And you don't always know what you're looking for, even if it's still there. And yes, I actually get paid to do this. Finding small survey marks hidden in places most people would never look. You can see I've got my orange vest on here, and actually I've got my dark green shirt. I sometimes, when I'm surveying, I try not to make too much noise, so turn down the... I'm setting out the world's biggest house, and if I'm out by 10 millimeters, this whole house shifts.
And this house is a large one, more than 100 meters long. And I'll show you exactly how I set it out, starting with control, the setup, and pegging it out.
Put a tripod here down, and because it's quite sunny today, what I might do in a second is show you the little umbrella holder that I have. Okay, and the weapon of choice today is the Leica TS16. Let's open that. There we go. Such a beautiful instrument. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we've got a battery. Without a battery, it's not going to work. Secondly, turn it on. See the little red dot there, can you see it? That's the laser pointing down, so I have to firstly move the whole instrument.
I'm setting out the world's biggest house.
And if I'm out by 10 millimeters, this whole house shifts.
And this house is a large one, more than 100 meters long. And I'll show you exactly how I set it out, starting with control, the setup, and pegging it out.
Put a tripod here down, and because it's quite sunny today, what I might do in a second is show you the little umbrella holder that I have. Okay, and the weapon of choice today is the Leica TS16. Let's open that. There we go. Such a beautiful instrument. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we've got a battery. Without a battery, it's not going to work. Secondly, turn it on. See the little red dot there, can you see it? That's the laser pointing down, so I have to firstly move the whole instrument and the legs over to this nail. Okay, so we've got it on the nail. Next thing we want to do is make sure we firm these legs. This one normally I'd find in the concrete here.